How's it going, Pokemon fans? I'm Doliwhop, back with a quick video. I know I said I'll do the companions video next, but wow, these videos are blowing up faster than expected. First off, thank you. I'm glad so many of you are enjoying these. Secondly, if this is your first video here, I recommend watching my two Ash Ketchum teams redone videos first before coming to this one. It will give some of the context here, as this is just a bonus video for the first two. Thirdly, and the reason we're here today, I've seen a lot of comments regarding my Journeys team choice. Most if not all of you are pretty positive about my idea, but I can see the disappointment in a non-Journeys team. And you know what, despite liking the idea for Ash to reuse his old Pokemon, I'll try my hat at a Journeys team. Whether it's canon to this alternate world I've created, it's debatable, but I'm gonna have fun with it regardless. Keep in mind that Ash's Journey team was weird. Like, other than Gengar and Lucario, no one saw what Ash caught coming. So I've embraced the weirdness. I've got the choices that fulfill the same roles as Journey's Pokemon and some that are new. Overall though, I got 3 clean rules, not including my no Pokemon Ash has caught before rule. Number 1, I need a Mega to replace Lucario. Number 2, I need a Gigantamax Pokemon. Number 3, I need at least 2 Galarmon. This was technically Galar's season and Ash's team should reflect that somewhat. Alright, let's get into it. Our first choice is Tyranitar. Before you ask, yes, this is the same Larvitar Ash helped in Johto. I think this will be Ash's first catch. It matches Dragonite as a Suedo, but also has a lot of backstory with Ash. I think while Ash and Go start off traveling, Ash wants to show Go places that he's been before. They head back to Mount Silver and end up running into a Tyranitar who's fighting poachers. They help and Ash realizes it's the same Larvitar he hatched and brought back to his mom. He's all grown up and on his own fighting any poacher he comes across. The poachers will eventually come back, but Ash helps put an end to them and Tyranitar joins his team. Tyranitar is similar to Dragonite as he's a lovable goof. That's only with the team though. In battle, he's an absolute monster, rampaging across the field, ready to destroy all those in his path. Growing up constantly fighting off poachers will do that to you. Tyranitar will know the moves Stone Edge, Earthquake, Outrage, and Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is something it learned due to its bond with Ash and Pikachu. It's an homage of sorts. Next up, we have a weird choice in Volcarona. If Ash's team is going to be fighting Leon's, I want him to have some powerhouses, and Volcarona is the king of that. I chose Volcarona because I had some story ideas for it. It's in a similar vein to Tyranitar's. Ash shown Go the desert resort where he caught his Darumaka and helped out the Darmanitan. The Darmanitan there let Ash and Go down to the lower levels where they'll encounter a Volcarona in the ruins. They'll fight and Ash will catch it. It's sort of a reward for Ash saving the Relic Castle in the past. I know it seems weird to give him a fully evolved Volcarona, but literally he caught a fully evolved Dragonite and Gengar, so this isn't that big a stretch. Personality-wise, Volcarona will be a bit vain. She sees herself as the queen of Relic Castle, so she's kind of full of herself. Ash manages to break through a lot of that though, even if she still acts that way with the rest of the party. Still, she's always there to fight off those who would harm her friends. Volcarona would know the moves Fiery Dance, Hurricane, Quiver Dance, and Solar Beam. Next up, we have our first Galar Pokemon in Phalanx, a fighting type for a fighting type. This will be our Surfetch replacement. Okay, I'm biased as I think Phalanx is awesome. Ash hasn't ever had a Pokemon that comes in multiples like this, so it will be a weird challenge for him. Rather than becoming a more knightly Pokemon, the goal of Phalanx is to become a true unit with Ash and the Brass at the head. It's about working together to overcome the odds and achieve victory. Ash using Phalanx would be awesome, as I can see him coming up with crazy strategies for them to fight with. When you have 6 Pokemon in one, you can do crazy stuff. Phalanx will know the moves No Retreat, Close Combat, Iron Head, and Rock Slide. Okay, our next Galarmon is possibly a controversial one. The next up is Inteleon. Okay, I think one of the cool parts of Journeys was Ash didn't get a starter. I also know if they were to give him one, Rillaboom would be the #1 choice, and I agree with that. However, I like Leon's Rillaboom a lot. I think it fits, and that thing was a monster. When I scrolled down the Galar decks, there wasn't any Pokemon that stood out to me. I could have used Dreadnought or something, but again, I want to go for picks that weren't expected. Inteleon wouldn't be caught immediately, that duty still goes to Tyranitar. However, while visiting the ranch, Ash finds he's being followed around by Sobble. Ash is sort of the only thing around that doesn't intimidate him due to his personality, so it sticks to his side. That's when it joins his team. Eventually it will go through its angsty phase before evolving into the badass Inteleon. I'm going to steal from Leon here and give Inteleon that dual sniper ability that Leon's had. Inteleon will grow into the cool, calm, and collected type. He's basically a super spy. I mean, the dude can still camouflage himself, so you know he's just going to be like an assassin on the battlefield. And if it's not obvious, Inteleon will be the Gigantamax Pokemon. Look, I searched through the options for Gigantamax, and all the non-Galar Pokemon Ash has caught or don't fit him. The only options I thought of were Sandaconda, Centiskorch, and Dreadnought. Dreadnought and Centiskorch I've just seen so many times on Ash's teams that I kind of just don't want to use them out of principle. Like, I just don't think I can introduce anything new that hasn't been said before. That doesn't mean they're bad choices. Actually, they're probably better choices than Inteleon and Volcarona. I don't want to use them. Sandaconda was interesting, but just didn't make the cut as well. Inteleon will know the moves Snipe Shot, Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, and Breaking Swipe. I read this thing that apparently Inteleon has a blade in its tail or something, so I thought Breaking Swipe would be really cool. Plus, you always need kind of a close combat move when you're an all-sniping Pokemon. Our last pick is our Lucario replacement, and probably the most important choice on the team. That's going to be Mega Gallade. Now I gotta give a shout out to Just a Lost Cause 4425, as early on they made a comment that a Gallade could have been my Infernate replacement for Sinnoh. I really liked that. It's a great idea, as rather than an overwhelming blaze, Ralts would have this overwhelming psychic power that would go haywire and destroy everything around it. Seeing as I consider Lucario for my original Infernate replacement, I think Gallade will make a great Lucario replacement here. You can keep a lot of the aura and bond things going on with Ash, but frame it through psychic power, or just keep it aura. Gallade can use Aura Sphere after all. Regardless, Gallade will be hatched from an egg as a Ralts, where it'll be timid at first. It's kind of funny having both it and Sobble on the same team. Imagine them both making each other cry. That sounds a lot funnier as a visual, but not when you say it out loud. I'm just gonna move on. Anyways, Ralts will have a hard time controlling its psychic power, breaking things when it gets emotional. Despite its fear, when Ash gets behind it, he finds it has a natural talent for fighting. It will grow and evolve to become more confident as a Gallade, but there are still issues. When it comes to Mega Evolution, I think Gallade still holds on to a lot of that fear it had as a Ralts, even if it hides it well. He's afraid of his own power and what damage he can do. That's when they go and meet Ash Chestnut, who helps him learn not to be afraid of his potential, but embrace it. Seeing as it's a Gallade, its Aura Sphere equivalent will have to be Psycho Cut. It's too perfect not to be. Gallade's also a Sinnohmon, so when it faces Cynthia's Garchomp, it still fits. Gallade will know the moves Psycho Cut, Teleport, Sacred Sword, and Leaf Blade. Okay, I really wish I could have more moves. The first three are solid. Leaf Blade I'm a little iffy on, as it has a lot of Blade moves, and I've done a lot of Blade moves for Blade Pokemon in the past. Just look at Kartana. It makes sense, don't get me wrong. I just wondered if I should have thrown in something like Shadow Ball or Expanding Force. I settled on Leaf Blade as I think it's sort of a tribute to Chestnut, who helped Gallade overcome his final hurdle. And that's the team. I'm in the middle of drawing all the Pokemon for my companions video, and god, there's so many. This was so much easier when it was just Ash. How do you guys like the drawn Pokemon, by the way? It's probably the part that slows my videos down the most, but I think it adds my own Doliwhop flair to it. You know, it's something you don't usually see. I could just use the defaults, but it always feels a bit boring in comparison, especially because I can take little scenes from the anime where Pokemon's in a funny pose and redraw it there. Regardless, hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Welcome to all you new subscribers, and thank you so much for 1,400 subs and 6,000 views on my newest video. I've never had this much fun making content, and I'm glad you all enjoyed as well. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.